Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. April 3rd, 2017. The Men's College Basketball Championship just finished. North Carolina defeating Gonzaga 71 to 65. As predicted, North Carolina has won, and as I've talked about since before the tournament began, the number 71 closed it. North Carolina won with 71 points. A very special number. It represents the name March Madness. This year, the tournament field decided on March 12th, the 71st day of the year. That's the day the brackets were set. Been talking about 71 since before the tournament began. We'll review. Justin Jackson, number 44 for North Carolina. I imagined he was going to have a better game than he did, but I wasn't surprised when he got the put-away dunk on the fast break. Justin Jackson wears the number 44. Today, April 3rd, 2017, a date with 44 numerology. Also the 93rd day of the year. The name Justin in Gematria sums to 93. Let's go through some of the scripting that stood out. Just real quick, let me zoom this in here. Today's date, 44 numerology. Justin Jackson, number 44, puts away the game. April 3rd, the 93rd day of the year, Justin equals 93, Dean Smith equals 93, who won the championship with Carolina in 93. All things I've been talking about since before the tournament even began. I said why on March 11th, without watching a single minute of college basketball all season, why things lined up a lot for North Carolina, with the championship being on the 93rd day of the year, April 3rd. By the way, in Gematria, both the names Tar Heels and Bulldogs, the nickname for North Carolina and Gonzaga, they both sum to 43. Kind of like today's date as we write it in the U.S., April 3rd, 4/3. At the end of the game, the announcer said it was redemption for North Carolina, who lost to Villanova, the Catholic school, last year. This year they defeat Gonzaga, also a Catholic school, a Jesuit school as well. Redemption, a word with 119 gematria. 93 and 119 are numbers connected to Saturn. Saturn's the keeper of time. Today, North Carolina gets their redemption. If you follow my channel, you know about these numbers. They're very special. See my work on what happened in Russia today if you want to learn more. So, end of the game, 65 to 71. Let's remind you what March Madness has to do with 71 in Gematria. March Madness sums to 71, like Catholic, like Gonzaga. The small way, Catholic and Gonzaga sum to 35. They had 35 points at the half. Gonzaga Bulldogs also shares the Gematria of 71. North Carolina wins with 71 over the Gonzaga Bulldogs. A tournament drawn up on the 71st day of the year. A stat that made me laugh at the end of the game, you know, it was a really ugly game if you watched it. A lot of bad shots, a lot of fouls, no rhythm. There weren't a lot of nice flows in the game. North Carolina got hot at the start of the second half. That was about as fluid as the basketball ever looked. But anyway, notice the score here, 47 to 46. A sum of 93 points on the 93rd day of the year. Both teams shooting 33%. That's awful. You want to be near 50. 33%, horrible shooting percentage. Remember, this year, March Madness, the 33rd March Madness. It began in 1985. That's 32 years ago. But don't forget to count 1985. This is the 33rd March Madness. The tournament began in 1939, but the March Madness name and the field of 64 began in 85. That was the 47th season of the men's tournament. Remember, the word foundation equals 47. First Super Bowl season in the 47th season of the NFL. First pro basketball championship in 47. North Carolina leading 47 to 46 here. 93 points, 33% from the field. North Carolina got their 33rd win today on the 33rd parallel in Glendale. Glendale with the gematria of 33 down on the 33rd parallel. North Carolina got their 33rd win today. The Gamecock ladies got their 33rd win yesterday. 33rd year of March Madness. 33, the winning number this year. Not a coincidence. Before the tournament began, I said I expected big Carolina representation in this year's tournaments and Jesuit representation. We got a Carolina versus Jesuit Gonzaga. And I also said I like North Carolina and Gonzaga before the tournament began. But I don't even care. It doesn't even feel like an accomplishment to me. What it'll be an accomplishment is when the word gets out on this work. I've been doing this for 3 years straight, college and professional sports, and gotten almost no recognition. For as amazing as what I have done is, I've gotten almost no recognition. You think you live in this world where people come out and discover talent and give them big money and make them celebrities so they can spread whatever they're doing? That's not the way it works, people. You got to be in a gang. You got to be in the network. You got to be born into the secret societies. I'm exposing them. That's not exactly profitable. I'm putting their lucrative business enterprises, such as rig sports, at jeopardy. So, not to sound naive. I know what's going on here, but I'm also just trying to show people. You do something great in this world, you're not going to get any recognition. The only people who get recognition are the people on the TV selling out the masses. I love this part, too. They named Joel Berry the MVP of the tournament. Joel Berry had his 22nd birthday on the Final Four game, North Carolina defeating Oregon by the numbers. Anyway, Berry hit a 3 to make it 47, that special number. Joel Berry, 47, knocks in the 47th buckets. That put a smile on my face. I wrote about him in 47 in the Final Four game as well. Justin Jackson has been scoring the 44th points for North Carolina all tournament. I was going to see if he did it tonight on the date with 44 numerology. I would have bet on it that he would have. He did not. Instead, they had number 4 do it, which also made me grin. Instead of having number 44 put in the 44th points tonight, they have in number 4. I guess Justin Jackson's special tribute was the put-away dunk where we began. But I should look more into this number 4. He played well tonight. He had a big game, that man. And by the way, just in case you're trying to learn this gematria language, what you should know is there's something called Sumerian gematria, which is the alphabetic order times 6. So A is 6, B is 12, C is 18. Any word with an English ordinal gematria of 74 will sum to 444. So a word like Masonic is 444. You never seen my work on the 93 World Trade Center bombing in September 11th? Has everything to do with 444. Check it out. Special number. The World Trade Centers were on the 74th meridian. 74,444. John Stockton was in attendance tonight, the former Gonzaga alumni. Gonzaga, Catholic school, John Stockton, every Mormon's favorite basketball player, playing all his years with the Utah Jazz. He got to see his Gonzaga team lose. Anyway, again, halftime, it was 35-32. Gonzaga 35, Catholic 35 the small way. A sum of 67 points. If you missed my halftime video, I said why North Carolina should win. Last night, the South Carolina team won with 67 points. I explained that was pointing to the North Carolina victory by the numbers. The women's game is as rigged as the men's game. In case you missed what I showed at the halftime preview, earlier in the game, they put up this amazing stat. This is amazing if you follow basketball. 6 field goals by 6 different players when only 7 field goals had been made. That means the 5 starters and the man they subbed in made 6 of the first 7 baskets. That's so rare. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. But I said, okay, 6 of 6. I was thinking, Roy Williams is 66. Dean Smith retired at 66. South Carolina has the gematria of 66 who won the night earlier. But then just moments later, they made my face just grin so big I can't even imitate it. Then they put up this. Notice this was at 12-21. Then just moments later, 12-12. 11 field goals by 11 different players. That means all 5 Gonzaga scored plus 6 North Carolina. 6 and 6 is a lot like 66. And number 11 is related to 66. If you sum 1 through 11 together, 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to 11, it totals 66. So you get this 6, 6, then you get this 11, 11. 11 times 11 is 121. Roy Williams' birthday is 121 days from today, August 1st. He'll turn 67, like how North Carolina equals 67. Kennedy Meeks, their star player, his birth numerology is 121. If this sounds crazy to you, I wrote about all this stuff before the tournament even began with these exact numbers, saying this was a reason North Carolina would likely win the championship with the date it was setting on. So I wrote about this stuff March 11th, before a game had been played, before the bracket was even set. And, lo and behold, they're giving tributes to those exact numbers I talked about. What you need to understand is the people who are running the basketball show, the Freemasons, they seem to be truly the Catholic Church, which has a lot to do with the Bible. 66 books in the Bible. The final book of the Bible is Revelation. And think about this. Revelation, using the English ordinal, sums to 121. Revelation's the 66th book of the Bible. If you sum 1 through 11, it totals 66. The square root of 121 is 11. The Bible is all numbers, from beginning to end. Anyone who reads the Bible should know it is a book of numbers. And you learn the language of gematria, you'll really see what's going on with the numbers. This is where this whole gematria thing traces back to. So anyhow, big Roy Williams tribute. I mentioned him. I said, you see North Carolina win this game. Remember this stat. Here's my post from March 11th, a case for North Carolina to win the championship. Dean Smith, Tar Heels champion, April 3rd, the 93rd day of the year. I said it'll have a lot to do with the president. Pro and collegiate sports are always synced up with what's going on in the news, popular culture. It's the year of an election. We saw Clemson and the Carolinas avenge their championship loss to start this year. Now we've seen North Carolina do it. Last year we saw Coastal Carolina win the College World Series. But Tar Heels, Trump, I forgot how Joel Berry equals 47, and he knocked in the 47th buckets when Tar Heels equals 47. 47, very special number to Freemasonry. The Freemason compass and square, the logo with the G and the compass, like for making circles in geometry, and the square below it. The compass is set at 47 degrees. That number represents authority, time, all sorts of things. With regards to time, today's the 93rd day of the year. Saturn's the keeper of time. The tropics, the Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere, the Tropic of Capricorn in the southern hemisphere. Capricorn's at 23.5 degrees north. Cancer, 23.5 degrees south. That's 47 degrees apart. The word time equals 47. The tropics used to measure time by the ancients to measure the solstices. Also, North Carolina has gematria of 148, like Donald J. Trump, his author name. North Carolina and Revelation overlap. Big tribute before Roy Williams' 67th birthday. He'll be 67 for next season. We'll see how things line up next year. North Carolina could be ready for another dynasty run. Jordan's got his new North Carolina Tar Heels shoes coming out April 15th. As I showed weeks ago, the tournament was all synced up with Jordan's birthday. I also thought before they set the bracket that UCLA might be a fitting opponent for North Carolina. They ended up being put in the same bracket, so that was impossible. But once I saw the brackets, I was really liking a Gonzaga North Carolina matchup. Now here's the sick part, and I saved this for the end because so many people will shrug this off, but it's the absolute truth. I've been explaining for 3 years, sports are rigged and they're synced up with the news. Last night, South Carolina won the championship with 67. We know North Carolina equals 67. Talked about this last night. I also talked about 71 in regards to the bathroom bill last night. We have the bathroom bill in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, big story. Remember, last summer, July 21st, 2016, which was a date with 44 numerology as well as 64. March Madness concludes on a date with 44 numerology. March Madness also has gematria of 64. Used to be a 64-man tournament. That news, that day with the bathroom bill, that's when the NBA rescheduled their game for a different city. It was supposed to be in Charlotte, but they said, Charlotte's being a bunch of bigots, rejecting these transgender rights. We're going to have our all-star game in a different city. And all of this stuff is just a show by the numbers. It's all predetermined and contrived. But anyway, the point is that story was connected to basketball. And then the bathroom bill just made big headlines on March 30th. 3 plus 30, 33. North Carolina just got their 33rd win today. 33rd tournament on the 33rd parallel in Glendale. South Carolina got win number 33 last night. Anyway, think about it. Bathroom bill. Who can go in what bathroom? Can a man who identifies as a woman go in a woman's restroom? Can a woman who identifies as a man go in a men's restroom? Honestly, all this stuff is crazy. To even be talking about this is crazy. The way you're born determines what bathroom you go in. You know, not what midlife crisis you have, or for these younger people that are being tormented by the news and persuaded to think this is cool. This stuff is sick, okay? This is sick. This is an agenda, just like rig sports are an agenda to distract the manpower, to eat up their time, to waste their time. That's why all of this stuff is connected. It's all part of the Masonic agenda. It all comes through the TV. It all programs the minds of the masses. Think about it. Women winning, men winning in the Carolinas where the bathroom bill is. They were literally calling the Lady Gamecocks the Ladycocks constantly throughout the tournament. Just turn it on ESPN, watching the highlights. Ladycocks. Ladycocks, bathroom bill, transgender. It's not hard to see, people. This stuff is sick. It is an agenda. Wake up. You know? Bathroom bill also has the gematria 55. Look at how much Mississippi State lost with. And not to mention, the Mississippi State team's called the Bulldogs. Gonzaga's called the Bulldogs. You know? If you missed my work on Mississippi State upsetting UConn and how that was a big tribute to Dakota Prescott, or Dak Prescott, I guess his name is Dakota Prescott, check it out. Rain Dakota Prescott, his full name equals 111, just like Mississippi State, where he went to college. He plays for the Cowboys. Mississippi State upset UConn's 111-game winning streak in Dallas. I'll just show you this real quick so you don't have to take my word for it. Mississippi State 111. They upset UConn at 111. Dak Prescott, his full name is this. Rain Dakota Prescott. And I won't do all your homework for you. If you don't think that's his name, go look it up. That's it. Rain Dakota Prescott. And how many times have I showed this before? If you follow my work, if you follow my blog, I've showed it a million times. These athletes so often have the same name gematria as the teams they play for because they're Manchurian. They're born and they're bred to be. And they're not like you and me who are born into normal families and, you know, there's a different class going on here. And we're not part of it. So that's the message, truth seeker. You don't think these games are scripted? I can't help you. You think this is all coincidence? I can't help you. But you better help yourself. Until next time.